All right, welcome back to another Tech Talk. I'm Chris. This is my co-host Ryan,
How you doing?
and we're here with Christian, who will be throwing us some pretty good questions, I assume, today as well.
Hey guys.
Yeah. So Christian, yeah, what's in the news, man? What was trending this week?
Well, for our first topic, a new voting system is soon to launch testing in preparation for the 2024 U.S. national elections. The Center for Internet Security's national testing program is said to be a significant effort to enhance the security and integrity of voting systems. Chris, with a new voting system, does this give any credence to previous claims that there's a possibility of fraud in the last elections? Or does this have more to do with possibilities of foreign interferences?
Uh,
Great question.
yeah, again, another really good question. I think speaking from, of course, as always here, we're speaking from, a personal standpoint. I think there was so much hubbub about the election. If you look at it from both sides, right? The Republicans say it's not secure, right? They screwed around with it or whatever. The Democrats say that those allegations weakened people's confidence in democracy. So I think maybe this is a good way to kind of cover both sides so that, because really and whether you're right or left or not, like, I think all Americans want secure elections, right? Politicians feel the same. Sure. I would imagine, I hate to speculate that anyone would want things to not be fair. I think this is a good move to maybe bring back some of that confidence that both people on both sides may have lost.
Yeah. From what I read, I mean, it's essentially an opt-in thing. So it's not like it's not every booth is gonna have some testing thing, right? It's gonna be I don't know how they're gonna go about doing it, but essentially they're gonna ask first, I guess, like when you're in the booth. I don't really know the specifics of how they're gonna go about doing it, but it's interesting. Like I think on one hand it does, to Christian's question, it does lend credence to the fact that there was mishap in the last election to some degree. I know it's like walking on eggshells talking about it, but I mean,
Right.
There's the numbers just don't add up to me. And again, it's hard to know what's factual, what's not.
Right.
But so I looked it up. In the last presidential election, 70% of the voting eligible population registered to vote and 61% voted. Almost 9 in 10 registered voters cast a ballot. That to me is just I don't know, baffling. Like, it's a baffling number. The 2020 presidential election had the highest voter turnout of the 21st century, with 66.8% of citizens 18 years and older voting. I don't know. I don't. What do you think? Do you think the numbers are suspect, or do you think overall? I don't know.
Well, I know I read that Joe Biden got more votes than Obama. Yeah. Which, if we go based on support alone for Obama, and I may be dipping my toe into some dangerous waters here, but
yeah, the comment section is gonna be fun.
Yeah, well, yeah, feel free to let me have it, because my opinion will not change regardless. But I think I assume that people from minority communities came out and voted for Obama because they felt a sense of pride. They were voting for someone to represent them, whereas I just don't imagine that people would have the same inclination for Joe Biden. With that being said, I mean, right? I don't want to say black people voted for Obama just because he's black, but I mean, basically, if we boil it down to a very simple thing, I think that's what happened. And that's fine, you know. If yeah, I mean that's what we do, right? You vote. It's your right to vote. Please do vote. I don't care why you vote, just vote.
Yeah.
I also think the media did a really good job of polarizing the nation. And people that did not like Joe Biden voted for Joe Biden because they dislike Trump more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know. I personally would like more security and more, I guess, better limitations on voting to a degree, like because the phone in ballots, right? I believe, or they did it digitally before. I'm not 100% sure how they did it before, but that's essentially where all the problems arose. And yeah, it's just there just needs to be better checks and balances in that space, in that aspect. And it just helps. I mean, I think if anything, this will just help people like me that are worried about this kind of stuff feel better when they go to vote, that their vote is actually being, put in the right spot.
Right.
Not dead people voting, right? Or whatever the story was, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's no matter what, it's a good thing. No matter what, it's a positive thing that's gonna happen. But does it point something out? Does it highlight any nefarious actions? I don't know. I don't, not necessarily. No.
I mean, it does. And yeah, back to Christian's question, it does kind of like if you take this in any other context, right, other than this particular context, if I don't know, I have to think of an analogy, but like if someone said, it's basically like, I don't know, say your old lady, right? She accused you of cheating, right?
Yeah.
And you maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But if it's one of those, it's almost a guilty move to say, no, I didn't cheat. Look, like you can check my phone, knowing that you've erased everything.
Yep.
So it does kind of lead, or it does kind of, lead you to think like, if there wasn't a problem, then why is there now a solution to a problem that never existed?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. It's I don't know, and I looked this up too. It's interesting as well. In January 2017, the Department of Homeland Security officially designated election infrastructure as a subset of government facility sector. So it's like after Trump even became president, did they actually start taking this stuff seriously? Well, a little bit more seriously, I guess, on the IT side.
Right.
So yeah, it's like clearly it's not. And again, I think the pandemic had it just changed everything, right? Obviously, it changed everything, especially for voting and how we approach it. And yeah, it's just I don't know, scary.
It is. I mean, what? All right. So I know in most countries, right, like voter ID is not a debate. It's a requirement, and people accept. It's just like driving. You want to drive, you need a license. You want to vote, you need a basically a license to vote. You need this ID to vote, and it's that way for you want to be a doctor, you want to practice law, like all these things. That are important, but not the same level of importance as electing leaders of the country. Do you think that it would just be? I don't see the problem with voter ID.
Neither do I.
It's amazing to me that
fun.
they push this. It minimalizes people. It cuts people. I don't think so. Like,
no,
it's insane. It's an insane argument.
Is that something that's come up? I haven't even looked into that.
Like
That's crazy.
Minorities. That's what they call voter. That's what when people start talking about, mainly on the right, when people on the right start to discuss, we need voter ID, the left comes and says, that's voter suppression because not everyone has access. I think Kamala Harris herself said something about people in minority communities like don't have access to Kinko's. It was some crazy ass.
No, that makes sense for both sides, but I do think that a voter ID or a system that better checked voting as a whole on the whole would be necessary, is necessary. I mean, how we don't even already have a government system in place just for voting and keeping that safe is insane. It's baffling to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think?
mean,
I think the improvements for this one, I think, would move towards a bit more towards cybersecurity, right? With the voting
yes.
ballot. And as well, I think there should be a way to ensure the mail-in ballots are actually protected.
Yes.
That's another.
And how do you do that?
And it's also weird that the timing of this, like the announcement was actually on the 23rd, when the settlement case for the Dominion was actually done. I think was it the 16th or the 17th before they made this announcement? Like, did they actually wait for that thing to be settled first before they announce any
Maybe.
upgrade?
Maybe.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
'Cause, I mean,
drives
that's not-
interest.
That would not help Dominion's case.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the powers to be, this was an attack on a conservative net, not an attack. I'm sorry, not an attack on. This was a case against a conservative network. The powers to be are obviously not conservative when it comes to these type things. So yeah, that would have hurt Dominion's case against Fox News.
Yeah,
because Fox could have been like, "Oh, look, the same thing. Why are we fixing a problem if there's not one?" Right? That's a great defense.
Yeah, yeah. No,
And
it's
Was Tucker Carlson part of that settlement?
I think so.
Yes. Tucker Carlson. Who was the other one that that got fired from forget
Bongino
media? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean there's also a whole the business side behind voting as well, how certain businesses have control over the cast in ballots, the machines essentially that do it, which is it's a little suspect to me too. Right. How these businesses go about with the machines and stuff, which needs better protections as well, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all around. I think it's again a positive thing. Does it paint it in a bad light? Does it paint, prior concerns? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
It could also mean any additional safeguards in case there's a retaliation from Russia, right? What better way to destabilize the country from their election?
Yes, and China.
I may be as ignorant as they come with this opinion, but I feel that if there were any type of interference from an outside government, it would not be pro-Trump.
I don't know.
He's a hard ass, man. Like he threatened Kim Jong-un's life on live television.
You make a good point. It's the thing. It's like we kind of don't know what the international climate would feel about domestic leadership here. I mean, when Trump was in office, he was kind of buddy with Putin, if I remember correctly. Maybe not buddy to that extent, but I think I mean he was visiting and stuff, and I mean one of the first to go to North Korea as well.
He wasn't the norm in terms of dealing with dictators, right?
Yes. Whereas it's again, putting the politics actually aside, the aspect of the politics aside, nowadays with Joe Biden in office, the international how international countries or people see us now is kind of like a laughing stock to an extent.
It's so embarrassing.
And yeah, it's so to your point, would any Russia, China, would they want to kind of push Trump into office? You're right, probably not. But at the same time, maybe they would. Maybe Putin has something going on with Trump. Maybe who knows? Who knows? And that's definitely a concern. That's definitely a concern. But I feel like more of a concern is domestic interference as opposed to international interference.
Yeah,
because
just amplified by the recent leaks that happened during the Pentagon. Like an internal one is not out of the picture.
Yes.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Internal, much more likely internal, I think, because these
Yeah.
people, we as internals, have more to gain or lose by shifting something one way or another.
Yes.
And I think as a regular Joe Schmo, your morality line can be blurred when you honestly believe you're doing it for the right reason.
Yeah. And where do these previous concerns come from, right? It's not like when we had concerns before about election interference, it's not like people were pointing the finger at China or Russia. It was automatically, definitely someone inside the government currently, right? Like it wasn't China maybe, had been sure, there's, Russia may have had something to do with it. But yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it's and one thing before we'll move on to the next topic, but I have a press that I just thought of. How long do you think before AI becomes part of the voting system? Like the checks and balances part where AI
I wouldn't be surprised if it already has or has been for quite some time.
flag some inconsistencies, because it's already proven to be much more efficient than humans, obviously. I mean,
yeah.
So ballot counters, you count, even if you're 100% honest and you're counting the right way and you're counting every vote, you count 1 million votes. I don't imagine you would catch the same name twice. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but again, you run the risk, as I said before, of third-party businesses having their hands in the election. So to your point, right? Say OpenAI was like, hey, let's do some voting stuff. Let's get involved in voting. And who do you think they're going to lean towards? Probably Trump. I mean, maybe.
yeah, who knows?
And if Trump wins, like that already, causes concern
Then it's tarnished.
there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's so how, if AI is ever implemented into the voting process, how would that be done? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like how would that keep the public, at bay or safe, as it were? I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those concerning things. It's like, I mean, even now, we're faced with the reality that AI is going to steal all our jobs, our livelihoods. So
I was just, I was just, I was teaching someone earlier, and this student actually uses ChatGPT to rewrite. Like, she does it in English, and then she asks ChatGPT to correct it and make it better. And
okay.
So she sent me her original essay, and I went through, and her English is pretty good. Like, there is some, grammar things or whatever. So I changed a few things and reworded it a few different ways, and then when I sent it back to her, she said those are the same changes ChatGPT made. So, and I was like, are you telling me ChatGPT is about to take my job? Like, is it doing the exact same thing I'm doing?
Wow.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
I mean, there's I know for a fact that that BuzzFeed, several other places, maybe even CNET. I think CNET did it, but like not on the DL, whereas BuzzFeed did it on the kind of the DL. Have articles written by AI, like straight up just news articles, which is scary. I mean, that's just crazy.
It's cutting in on our territory, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, I think I talked about it last time, but it's all about the creativity, right? It's all about the fact that there's no soul in AI, and it's easy to, for some, maybe not all the time, but for some, it's easy to spot the dissimilarities between actual human content and AI driven content. Yeah,
sure. But maybe that's a discussion for another day.
We can talk about that for hours.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Christian, I think we've pretty much established our viewpoints on the voting thing, which is still, it's always going to be murky. What else you got for us, my man?
Yeah, speaking of the impending AI Armageddon, OpenAI has announced plans to introduce a new subscription plan called ChatGPT Business, which is designed for professionals who require greater control over their data and enterprises seeking to manage their end users. Chris, Could this move possibly be seen as OpenAI trying to rein in the extent of what users can do with their chatbot?
Well, I think there's two sides of this, right? One, commercial.
Yep.
But I don't like the commercial side, the feeling I have with the commercial side, because I feel like they're charging us like pay for your privacy type thing. Like
Okay.
we know ChatGPT has, it'll, it has access to everything. It leaks stuff. Well, it doesn't leak anything that you don't tell it, but it's like it's not good at keeping secrets, that type thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like pay me to keep that's blackmail, right? Pay me to keep your secrets.
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing with the business portion of it. It's yeah, I mean, but is it trying to rein in, as Christian said, is it trying to rein in the content that people give it? I don't know. I think it's just a business move on the part of OpenAI. I don't think that has really anything to do with the actual AI itself, as opposed to just them leveraging more subscription services,
Right.
more giving people more incentive to buy into their platform. Same as like Netflix offering um an ad-free version as opposed to a non-ad-free version, right? Or um ad tier, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Uh, and they're not really offering that much as far as I can see, other than what is it? Choose conversations that can be that can train the model. Essentially, like what conversations is actually going to learn from it. Which, yeah, I don't know. I don't see how that's really helpful. At least,
Are they basically just selling you a much dumber product?
yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, I don't really see the point. And there's no thing about pricing. I know right now I think it costs $20. I'm assuming it would be 50. Like like what's the value prop there? Like what's the value proposition? Um and do you get a discount if you actually are a business? It says ChatGPT business. Are you, if you're a business buying into this platform, are you getting a discount? Or I don't know. Like I'd love to understand like how it's all going to work.
Like does this come with copyright? You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
If OpenAI or ChatGPT specifically creates a slogan for you or something, right? Like is that, you know what I mean?
It's a great question.
Like to your point, like what is it offering as a for, because it says business.
Yeah.
What is the business?
Yeah. Where's the business in it?
I think they're putting a price on intelligence.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
They can at this point.
Exactly.
Is the thing. It's so new, they can actually charge you for intelligence, which
I wouldn't be surprised if they add even more tiers down the line.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like ChatGPT Premium or something. What's
they're
that?
actually making money, right? Over
yes.
ChatGPT.
Well, Microsoft already gave them a ton of money last year, in December of last year. Like trillions or billions, something insane. They gave them so much money because of the Bing integration.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're hunting for money. I feel like it's just it's just added incentive, I guess, to get more people in.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm curious. I mean, out of the three people here, do you pay for ChatGPT for anything? No. Christian, do you?
It's my rival at this point. I'm not paying it.
yeah.
No, meaning asking someone to pay for intelligence, right?
Well,
exactly.
I mean,
we've just had a recent report like ChatGPT has been outperforming human doctors in empathy. Like imagine empathy having
that's terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just gonna keep getting better and better. We're just gonna keep hearing this kind of stuff. I mean, it made a video game. It made several video games, which is just insane to me. It's just insane. And that's going off what Christian said. Can you put a price on intelligence? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
$20 for like all the answers you could ever ask for. It's just it's mind-boggling to me. I don't know. And then I don't even know how much the business portion will be. But yeah, it better be really smart, right? It better be if it's going to
Yeah.
be, I'm assuming it's going to be more expensive.
Well, does this
Yeah.
can you will there be a point you think where like you can pay for it? You know what I'm saying? You're paying the subscription or whatever, and then because right now there's limitations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, like I've seen somewhere like if you ask ChatGPT how much semen it would require to fill the Grand Canyon, it will not answer you.
Really? Oh yeah. See, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing I was saying before about the religious stuff. If you asked
Yeah, yeah,
specific
yeah.
religious questions,
So I
it
mean, you
won't
know,
answer. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
if that was an option, like I want
Mhm.
raw, unedited chat that I might pay for
Yeah. Yeah.
because then I can
Same.
get literally because right now you
Yeah.
can get most questions answered.
And you're really just gonna get multiple answers as opposed to the answer you want, right? You're gonna
Yeah,
have to pick your answers, and that makes sense
yeah, yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
the most part.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the question would be what would they be taking out in order
Yeah.
to make the version? Like,
Yeah.
also which industries would actually benefit more from the business platform rather than just having a free one?
Um,
And do you get an even upgraded version? Like, are you so we're on GPT-4, I think now.
uh-huh.
Do you get access to beta versions of future GPT iterations?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you should, right? As a paying
Yeah.
member, you should be part of that
Depending on
community.
the price. Yeah.
Yeah,
If the price is right.
yeah, but at this point, I'm not paying for it. Um, but I mean, maybe they know something
Would
we
you
don't.
ever? You said you would if it had no barriers, if it had no limitations, essentially.
Yeah,
Right.
maybe like
What would
because
be the ideal price for you?
per month.
Yeah.
Uh, well, it's got to be worth more than a blue check mark, right? Right. I mean, it has to be. If you're
Yeah.
going on the value of things, this has to cost more than verification on Twitter.
Yeah.
I
For sure.
mean, is it a Netflix level subscription? Like, you know what I mean? They've set these price points for virtual things where I'm not exactly sure where this fits in. Is it more useful than Netflix? Yeah, I would imagine probably.
Or even like right Adobe Premiere, right? Yeah, I liken it essentially to like video editing software or even Photoshop, right?
Right.
Adobe, I think is like a good parallel because you get a ton of different stuff, right? I mean,
Right.
software and shit. And I'm not exactly. I think it's like 100 something. So I feel like if it was like about 120, 150 per month or something like that for just no hold barred, right? And you
Mhm.
get access to the beta and stuff like that. That's a good value proposition, I feel like, especially if
Right.
you're getting like everything that
Right.
GPT or OpenAI has to offer. Um,
How
yeah.
cool would it be if you could pay like $150 a month, but then you also have to sign like an NDA and it just tells you everything about everything. You know what I'm saying? Like what happened to Kennedy, like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All these
yeah.
things. Like, is Atlantis real? What's up with the Bermuda Triangle? Like, I would pay
One
for
day.
sure. And I'd sign the
Yeah.
shit out of that NDA and be like, please tell me everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it brought up API as well. I wonder if they're gonna add like a tier so that you can use Chat GPT in your own products. For instance, Slack offers some new it's Snapchat too, just started a AI thing where you
Yeah.
can chat with some AI thing. I'm curious if they would ever do that, if they would ever allow you to integrate. I mean, again, it's called business, so I'm assuming
Mhm.
that that's another proposition, like a value prop for them.
They're moving into franchising them, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
because I think they're trademark the term GPT,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Which is surprising that that's like now they're doing that, right?
Right.
Like,
usually
yeah,
that comes
it's
ahead before you even actually launch a product. You would think of licensing it.
What do you think?
we're
Do you think they're surprised? Do you think they surprised themselves?
maybe. Yeah,
It's like, oh
I think
shit,
so.
this is so
Especially
good.
for
We
the
should probably
speed, the
trademark this.
rate. I think the rate at which it like grew into popularity was
Yeah.
definitely mind-boggling to them
I
to
think
some
so.
degree.
So they're kind of
Um,
they're a little reactive at this point, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
wait, we should have did this earlier, but we didn't think it would
Yes,
blow up like
for
this.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, in terms of
For sure.
OpenAI, I've just been opened up to it regards to the gaming community. Like it was actually used as bots for Dota 2, where
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the
Isn't
first
that
time that
crazy? Yeah.
people
Now,
ever found out about it. And then all of a sudden it was actually applicable to every job that we could have
Mm.
it actually think of. Like,
we're at that point.
You know what?
then
We're at
tie
that
Actually,
point.
Elon Musk to it. Like
Yeah. No, no, no.
yeah.
We're at that point where we're gonna start seeing AI get pushed into everything.
Oh, for sure.
Pushed into everything. Like we're gonna have sneakers with AI. Like it's just
Yeah.
like it's things that you wouldn't even like possibly like why? Like why is it there? Because you can. Because we can. That's why.
I just had a
Um
conversation with a gentleman the other day on Tech Times exclusives. So yeah, you guys could check that out too. With
hell yeah.
Yariv from Deep Optics, and they are incorporating or in the process of or looking to incorporate AI into the glasses, and then it'll be able to tell like all these things, like how
That's
how
awesome.
excited you were, or how many hours how many hours a day you plan to like stare at or how many hours a day you spend
Looking
reading,
at your
like
phone.
scrolling, like
Yeah.
it can track your eyes and stuff. So yeah, AI, like you said, shoes, glasses,
Yeah.
like it's going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
everywhere. But I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you back to the reactive behavior of OpenAI. What seems to be reactive? Uh Maybe a paid subscription would have been good first, right?
Yeah.
They gave it to us for
Well,
free,
like
and
I
now they
said,
say, "Oh, look,
it is free, but they do currently have a subscription service.
the premium."
It's
Yeah.
20 bucks a month. Um, and I'm assuming like a ChatGPT Plus is called. Actually it says here it's decreased from 42 per month, which is the pilot program, which is kind of interesting. So they did have a pilot program that was
Mhm.
even more money. Yeah, and it's like, again, what do you get for 20 bucks a month? Probably just, more time with the bot, right? More
Right.
more lengths of text maybe. Stuff like that. Like yeah. Yeah.
It's
I don't know.
yeah,
interesting.
they released their platform for free because I think in a sense, in terms of marketing, they wanted to build addiction for it. Like
Yes.
you always give free substance to people until they're hooked. Like
Yeah.
addiction is a very
Yeah.
broad. It could be addictive to anything that's actually available to you.
And
And
and I
as
think it
you
goes to the like like curiosity, right? Like how like people want to know how smart actually is this. You say AI, okay, let's see actually how far I can go with this thing.
Right.
And they do, and then they learn like, damn, this thing actually does work, right? Well, maybe I
Right.
pay a subscription. Yeah, and clearly it's smart, right? It's intelligent.
Mhm.
Clearly it's working.
so you
Yeah,
probably think this was their plan all along, like getting people
for
hooked
sure.
on it.
Well,
Like
that's
this,
For
that's
sure.
that's a good point, Christian. That's a really good point, and it was very effective because people now they use it for all kinds of naming babies and shit. Like crazy stuff's happening.
Really?
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah. It's like, hey, give me a good name for a baby, and it's
Oh my god.
like Zandolph or something. They're like, oh yeah, that works, whatever. And you have like
And
Zandolph Jones.
really that lazy.
goes to what I was saying.
But
Maybe I said it last week, but it scares me the most with this, everyone hindering on AI for stuff. We're gonna be those people in Wally. We're gonna be just fat asses like in chairs that
yeah,
move us everywhere. And that's what that I truly want to stress the point. Like AI is great and all, but we can't rely on it for everything. Like naming our children with the help of AI, that scares me a little bit. That scares me a little bit because it lends credence to the fact that we're like kind of giving ourselves up to it in a
right.
sense.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I mean, it's something as trivial. Well, all right, not trivial. It's something as simple or something as personal as
Yeah.
naming a child. But Christian made a good point about getting people addicted, which I think is very accurate. I would go as far as
marketing, just creating something in a concept of addiction. Like anyone can go in front of the TV and just say, ask your doctor if Jack Daniels is right for you.
Right.
And all of a sudden it legitimizes it. And every industry actually utilizes the platform, then all of a sudden it becomes a necessity. Because everyone
I'm sorry, it's all for $20, right? Like all for $20.
But imagine, all right, let's say it's our software, right? Us three. We've done this, we produced this thing. Now we need data input. We need real life data input. What better way than to release it to the world? You know how much data they've recovered? Just
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like that would have taken years maybe to collect and integrate. So there's like, here, it's free. You guys just use it. And the whole time it's like billions and billions and billions of whatever data comes in is just pumped into this thing every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're not losing for sure.
No.
No,
that's for sure.
But I mean, AI, man. Especially open AI. They're just I hope it's not the real life version Skynet.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not yet.
But Christian, let's get one more in here and see. I'm always very curious.
What do you have next?
Topics and your questions.
Yeah, speaking of addiction, here we go. Chinese tech giant ByteDance proposes TikTok substitute fear of a ban. The app's name is Lemon8, an lifestyle app focusing on health, wellness, and beauty. Has been around since the beginning of the 2020, when it was first released in Japan. Ryan, would this be an acceptable alternative for the U.S. government, or would it still matter that the origin of the app is from China?
I mean, again, like, I'd still be concerned. I'd still very much be concerned. If anything, I'd be even more concerned. Like, why start a new app? Like, I don't know. But maybe that's just me,
because you've been busted.
Yeah. No, exactly. Like, okay, Lemon8. I mean, even Lemon8 just sounds, I don't know, dumb to me. Like, am I crazy? Like Lemon8,
what is
that's
it?
the app.
I didn't
Lemon with an 8.
Lemon8?
Yep. Lemon, like the fruit, like lemon, and then 8 with the number. And that's the name of the app.
Do they realize maybe it's a lost in translation, but lemon?
Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
Like lemon is just, it's not good, bro. You don't want a lemon.
Yeah. I looked this up too. I was curious. What's that?
Even CNN doesn't want a lemon.
Yeah. Nice. That was good. I looked it up and I was curious because like how much does the world dislike TikTok? I'm curious. So from what I've seen, it's completely banned in India and Afghanistan. It's temporarily banned in some parts of, it looks like, what is this? Indonesia and Pakistan. It's temporarily banned. And most of the UK, it seems, and US, Canada, it has the partial governmental ban that we already kind of know of. So clearly there's not just in the US, clearly just worldwide, globally, there's a little sussiness going on with TikTok. And that can't just be ignored. You just can't just overlook that. Like if it's not just the US that has concerns, clearly there's some issues there. And will Lemon8, appease some people? Maybe, but it still comes from the same company, right? Like it's still under the same owner or leadership. So the same concerns should apply.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Now, it'd be different if it was a completely different company that they kind of spun off. Yeah, but again, like you still have the ownership, you still have the same leadership, you still have the same general managers and stuff like that are overlooking stuff, and you still have the same. You still own the data. You still own the data that's coming in. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see myself see, and again, I don't see myself downloading an app called Lemonade.
Yeah, no.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Uh,
it's a generational thing. Like Gen
Yes.
Z would be much more akin to be attracted to these kinds of names than us.
And it's funny, this is kind of not necessarily off topic, but it's interesting. There are several points of contention with shorts content in general. It looks like,
mm,
for the most part, at least, businesses and marketing are kind of steering away from the shorts content because think about it. I mean, there's no money really in making the ads that are geared towards TikTok because
mm,
most of that audience is children and they don't have money. They don't have
right.
money. Like there was this big push, like, oh, we got to get all these businesses on TikTok and stuff. But now it's like now business starting to realize. I mean, even Meta lost a ton of money giving away money to Reels, right? Reels creators.
Mhm.
So they Meta has completely kind of turned away from the shorts content itself, and other businesses as well. So even now, I think we're starting to see kind of a tapering off of the shorts love anyway, which is fascinating. I feel like, I mean, not that TikTok's gonna die anytime soon. I'm
Right.
not saying that, but I'm
But
just curious that
there's a framework regarding to short format content dying down because we already had
yes,
Vine before, right? And that was the rage
yeah,
that that
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, why is it always China that's making these? Why doesn't an American company make an app? And like, I don't understand why it's. How does
Well,
China have this
we kind of
this is
do
just
insight?
a
with
this is just a
Instagram.
stab at this, but would it be because that this generation is actually more content with just being a consumer?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spend money.
And
Nobody works
and
for it.
the youth, they like things like that, right?
Yeah.
You open TikTok and you automatically get everything you love because the algorithm is just built that way.
Yeah. For you.
You
I
don't
mean,
have to
that's what it's
hunt
called, right?
like
For you page or something like that.
yeah. When I go to YouTube nowadays, and sure, I get content that I like. It's not but it's not as good as TikTok would be. TikTok's
Right.
algorithm gives you, automatic serotonin, like satisfaction immediately. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, and it's just there. Boom, you open the app and you're already in a video. You don't even have to
Yeah.
click anything.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the ease of use, right? The ease of use and the quickness of it. Like you get
Mm.
content like this, boom, boom, next one, next one. It's just never ending.
And how is it to
Which
make it?
yeah,
How easy is it to make a TikTok video? I mean, I'm
it
sure.
depends.
I mean, it's probably. I
It
mean, yeah,
depends. I mean, I think
you're basic.
on average 4 to 6 hours maybe. But it depends on like what the content is. Probably, I mean, hell, you could probably make a TikTok in like a minute if you really wanted to, like an hour.
Right.
And
It
just
depends upon
you
the
take a
type of
video and
content.
post it. What's
If
that?
it's just it depends upon the type of content that you're doing because I think
Exactly.
this where it applies where even kids can do it.
Yeah.
But it would depend on the type of content. Like if it's going to be something more leaning towards marketing when it comes to branding, and that would I think entail a long hours. But if it's just you
Yeah.
dancing, it would just mean that you're just going to be basing it upon your embarrassment level.
Yep. Yep. All you got to do is film it, add music, and you're good. And yeah, I mean, and I think that's the other thing too. Like to your point, it's given a lot of non-creators access to the creative economy, the creator economy, essentially. People that maybe weren't so invested in content creation before were given pretty easy legs into the environment through it. Like what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. I'm blanking on her name. But her and her family, like,
Yeah,
grew
but my question
huge
for
on it.
both of you guys, like being American and such, like, is there any evidence regarding this ban on TikTok and the impending the offer of China for lemonade to be a substitute? Like, is there any evidence that TikTok has been weaponized, go against the U.S. government?
Not
I
not
think TikTok has been
Aside
weaponized.
from anecdotes and such.
yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen foolproof evidence, but there's again, India, Pakistan, all these places are banning it outright. They have to have a reason, right? I mean, India explicitly said that that they were concerned with data going to China, essentially. So yeah. Uh, do I think that it's stealing our data? Probably, yeah. Because most apps are. Facebook
Right.
does, most apps do.
I have a question. Stealing and farming, is that different?
I think it depends. I think it genuinely depends on what you're talking about. But
Right.
yes, I do think they are the same thing. Personally, I would call them the same thing.
But
It would
are
depend
If
if
you're
someone
saying
actually.
farming data as opposed to stealing data, because there are data farms, right? There are
right.
data farms. So yeah, it kind of depends on the the topic per se, but
I mean, doesn't that
yeah,
really just boil down to like the privacy agreement when you use, you know what I
yes,
mean? Like, and I know their
exactly.
privacy agreement is TikTok's. I think they revised it. It used to be pretty wild.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're basically,
And that's why always read what you're signing up for,
yeah.
Always read it because you might have to give up a lung.
Well, I
Never
mean,
know.
yeah. I mean, it's like the South Park episode, right? What is it? The human centipede?
Yes.
South
Yeah,
Park?
yeah.
That's it. Like everyone's just like
That's a good
nobody
one.
reads the terms and agreements on Apple. Next thing you know, you're in a human centipede.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good episode.
But yeah, I think yeah, let's end it on a human centipede. Why don't we?
I like that.
But yeah, as
Yeah,
always,
leave
Christian.
if you guys got anything, you want to ask us, or if you want to say anything, maybe call us idiots, please leave it in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably agree with most of you on that. But yeah, Christian, again, man, thanks for great topics and great questions, brother. We couldn't do it without
Awesome
you.
questions. Yeah. Excited to see what we have for next week.
Yeah, this is episode 2, I think, or yeah, 2 or 3. And yeah, every episode we do, I get more and more excited for the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, to all the viewers and the Tech Times fans, followers, commenters, subscribers, thanks guys, and we'll keep pushing these things out for you.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.